So, welcome back to episode 8 of the Half and Half Scarf Football Podcast. Episode 8 already. I'm Nick Bramley and my mate Dom Hanrahan's waiting to be introduced very shortly. We've had a great bit of feedback over the last couple of weeks from a number of watchers and listeners, and we're delighted for that. And we've also had a few people suggesting a couple of subjects maybe that we'd like to talk about, and we're very happy to do that as well. So if you watch or listen and it's something that you want to get involved with by suggesting, why don't we talk about this and why don't we talk about that? We're just two footballing mates who go to games and we talk about things we think that football fans talk about in the pub, in the concourse and after the game. So if that's you and want to suggest a subject, please feel free to do so. Today, we've got a single subject episode. We've had a couple of these before. This one, I've called it Fixture Scandal. We'll come to why it's called Fixture Scandal in a minute. But before we do any of that, I'm going to introduce you to Dom, who's probably going to have to calm me down. So, Dom, welcome back to episode 8 of the Half and Half Scarf Football Podcast.
Yeah, hi, Nick. Yeah, it's great to be back. Can't believe it's episode 8. Loving every minute of it. Like you said, we're getting some really good feedback. Good feedback from a mixed audience as well, all age genres, which is really good to hear. It shows that we're hitting on some good subjects, talking about some interesting topics. And yes, I'm a bit scared today because this is a subject that you've been waiting to talk about for weeks. We've actually had to unleash him, ladies and gentlemen. So, I might have to rein him in at some point. So he's looking forward to this one. If I get a word in, I'll be lucky, I think, today.
Nah, I'm going to involve you in it, mate. But before we do that, you got an Everton shirt on this week, and I've got a Boris shirt. What's your Everton shirt? Oh my God, that's a big Chang logo.
Yeah, it is, but it's a nice shirt. It's the 15-16 shirt. Doesn't hold anything specifically memorable. It's just a lovely shirt. One of those really simplistic ones. Nothing in the pattern of the blue. Just a classic simple white V. A little bit of a difference in the little bit across the middle there, but
yeah,
just a classic top, mate. Really nice.
It's a bit ecclesiastical with the vicar.
Ecclesiastical, yeah, but it's just that take on, well, we can't just have a really thin V, which I'd have probably preferred if I'm being honest, but still a nice shirt. Not worn in a while, so I'm enjoying wearing it.
Well, I've got the classic V-neck. I do like a V-neck, as I think the audience might know by now. And I've gone with the Borough third shirt from, I think, 2018, 17-18. It's hideous. It's yellow. I don't like it. I do like the Dortmund yellow. This is like an insipid yellow. Massive sponsor. And it seems to have shrunk because I haven't worn it for a while. It's a little bit snug, mate. Anyway.
Yeah, I was the same with this one. I'm like, oh, I definitely haven't put on any weight. It's definitely shrunk somewhere.
Yeah, must be.
Yeah, that is a particularly nasty one, that Nick you wearing. I never liked that one, so I never got around to buying it. It's a particular shade of yellow that I just don't particularly appreciate.
Okay, well, that's for our YouTube viewers who watch it. If you're listening on this, you're just going, I'll switch off in droves now. Please stick with us because this is going to be fiery, shall we say. And I'll tell you why it's going to be fiery. I've called it Fixture Scandal because I'm absolutely raging. I'm raging on a number of fronts, but I'm raging particularly about Villareal and Barcelona having a sanctioned game by the board of the Spanish Football Federation to be allowed to play a league game. I'll say that again, a league game in America in December. What the hell is going on? That is beyond the pale from a fan's point of view. Dom, before a rage calm me down, what's going on with that?
I think it's a terrible, terrible decision. It's kind of the end for me if this is approved and becomes a regular thing, because other leagues will be looking, expectantly thinking, right, we can do the same. And when you say what's going on, it's all for money, Nick. It's Villarreal's chairman or owners come out and try to put a positive spin about it, but really they're coming out with the same old cliches. It gives us more awareness in America, does our image really good. We get to go and see the fans. It's like yada, 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 yada. What a load of crap. You can do all of that in pre-season. You're completely disrespecting your fans. And all this nonsense, we'll fly them all out there, or we'll take 25% off their season tickets. Rubbish.
Let me, I'm going to get out the flights in a minute, but before we even start, right, there is absolutely, for me, zero consideration of the fans. This globalization I'm not sure that in Miami, that people in Miami might have not heard of Barcelona. I don't know. Where did Messi come from? Oh, yeah, hang on a
Oh,
minute.
I know, yeah. I don't think anyone will have heard of them, Nick, really. And it's not like Barcelona don't do tours and go, to states in on their some of their pre-season tours or end of season tours. It's absolutely disgraceful. This. It's and and isn't it funny how Real Madrid have come out and objected to it as if they're holier than thou, like they're breaking all the sacred vows of everything. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
You, Real Madrid, who are still going on about the Super League, but they're only doing it to protect their own interests because they're scared that it becomes a neutral playing field and Villarreal might have a chance of actually beating Barcelona because actually Barca's record at Villarreal is superb.
mm,
So they're more worried that they go to a neutral platform where actually Villarreal might, well, actually, no, sorry, yeah, Villarreal might well, no, Barcelona might win more. What am I talking about? Villarreal win, it's more in their favour. I think it's more because of the neutral platform but really, I think that the crux of it is I just can't get my head around why you need to do it. It's one game.
mm.
So for the fans, neutral fans in America, what does it matter to them if they see a game in a tournament in pre-season or post-season
Mm.
or a league match? So are they going to put a spin that actually they're going to play? Obviously, they're going to play more intensely, more competitively because there's points at stake. Whereas in end of season or post-season or pre-season, they're not. Why should neutral fans, get the privilege of seeing that when that's a really key match for the fans of those teams?
I mean, if you're a Villarreal fan, I bet the fixtures you look for, first of all, at your home, if you're a season ticket holder, you look for Real Madrid, you look for Atletico, and you look for Barcelona, I would imagine. As your three, when do we play the three big guns in the league at home? So
Yes.
to, so to take one away from them, that's one thing. I don't even know who's going to be at home. So is it a home fixture for Villarreal? Is it a home fixture for Barcelona? It's not a home fixture for either of them, by the way, because it's a bloody neutral venue. There's just the logistics of that as well. The whole thing stinks. It stinks of the thin end of the wedge. It stinks of corporatization. It stinks of just trying to get the Super League concept by the back door. Oh, look, it worked in America. And I know the NFL come over to the UK for, 3 games a season at Tottenham and at Wembley. They've been doing so for years. That's a different sport. And they're all, their fans strike me as a little bit sort of richer and a little bit more. And they seem less, I don't know, they only get a certain amount of games a season and they seem as though it's a happy thing to come to London. I'd be raging if any of the clubs that I was, as a Borough fan or a Dortmund fan, if I was going to see Dortmund regularly, for example, or you as an Everton fan, they said, "Oh, actually, next season, yeah, Everton are going to be playing Crystal Palace in the league game. They're going to be playing that in Saudi Arabia." Why? It's just wrong on every level, and it stinks, and that's my view. But let me get on to the aeroplane thing. They've said they'll do free planes or subsidised planes, and you can have a really nice break in Miami. Right? That's assuming that their fans who go to games on a Saturday or a Sunday in Spain can give up 3, 4 days. They're not paying for the hotels. There's the bloody if they take 40,000 people, they can't all fly at the same time on the same route. There's hotel fees, there's sustainability, environmental impact. It's just wrong on every level, and that's why I'm raging. It's the thin end of the wedge, and it's all about money. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing. To say, oh, we'll put on free flights for how many fans? Yeah, okay. So you can do it. Fine. You might stagger it over a few days and ship a load of them out there. They're probably banking on the fact that not as many want to go. But you suddenly tout a free flight to America, people are going to prick up the ears and go, okay. But
Yeah,
like you said, it's Christmas time as well. A fan's going to honestly suddenly find 3, 4, 5 days spending money hotels just to go and watch a football match. I don't think they are.
no.
Quite frankly, I don't think they are. And I think they'd probably rather just, hold their hands up and just say, I'll take the 25% reduction on my season ticket, thanks.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's wrong. It's capitulation. But I think they should fight, personally. I think they should fight with all their might to try and stop it, but I just don't think they're going to. I
No,
think the powers that be and the governing bodies have already put it in works and they already pretty much know it's a done deal. And I agree with you. I just don't see. I'll go back on my previous one because I'll clarify what I meant. I think because it's a neutral playing field, other clubs are kicking up a stink because they think it gives probably an advantage to Barca.
Yeah,
I don't really think that's the issue. I think Barca probably have a very good chance of winning the game at Villareal anyway. For me, it's not really about that. It's the integrity of the league system, honouring the fact that it should be played at the rightful venue of that team, and just let the fans go and enjoy that football match. I
yeah,
don't know. I've been to a few games and away in Spain, and they focus on absolutely wanting to beat Real and Barca and
yeah,
Atletico. That makes their day because they know they're the big guns. They know they're going to win everything. So one of the highlights of their season must be let's have a really good game against them and see if we can beat them,
yeah.
because it's brilliant when they do. And you're depriving all the fans of being able to do that. It's just so wrong because it is meant to be at Villarreal as well. It's not at Barca.
Okay. Well, there'll be more Barca fans than Villareal
Yeah,
fans in Miami, so it becomes a reverse home fixture, doesn't it, on that
yeah.
basis? You mentioned there that fans should be standing up for it. I think you should be marching on stadiums with pitchforks and stuff because when they announced the Super League over here, if it wasn't for English fans particularly, the Super League would have probably got off the ground because of the Spanish contingent. They seem okay, it's fine, it's inevitable, but it wasn't inevitable for the teams over here, and I don't think English fans would accept it. But if we're the only league in 5 years' time or 6 years' time that doesn't have a league fixture abroad, then that pressure becomes by natural association. There are too many American owners who don't understand the culture, the history of football, let alone English football. And certainly in Spain, they're not American owners. They're just Spanish money people, aren't they, who want to make more money?
They are. You can put. They can come out and put as much spin on it as they want. It's all a load of rubbish. It's just the same old crap that you hear.
Yeah.
And most people, if they're really switched on and listen to it and have been and are avid football fans and pay attention, know it's just about the money. It's nothing. It's not about anything else other than money. And all this idiocy about, we need to, increase our footprint abroad and get more popular and everything. All clubs are doing it. You
Mm.
know, Everton are at it all the time at the moment. It's all over their social media, all these pre-season tours and having allegiances with different clubs. Yeah, I get it. Okay, if that makes you more money worldwide and brings in more fans abroad, you want to buy your stuff and you have a fan club, pay more interest, come over and visit the club. I get it. Fine. There's nothing. I've got no objection to liking teams abroad, wanting to go and see their matches, supporting
Mm.
them from afar, having an affection for them, watching that league. I get all that. I'm fine with it. We all do it. I like watching different teams abroad and everything else. But fundamentally, the heart of football is your community, where
Mm.
you're based, your bread and butter fans that make your match day,
Mm.
and you neglect those and take the piss out of them at your peril. And this is just disrespecting them completely. And to say, oh, well, we'll do this for them, we'll do this for them. Well, here's an idea. Just don't do it because you don't need to do it. You
Yeah.
can make your money any other way. It's just, isn't it? It's like, it's just stretching it too far, Nick. They already do the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
which is I know it's not as important as, the Spanish Cup, the league, etc., but it's still a cup.
Yeah.
And you're still denying those fans from going to watch it who can't afford to get flights and go to Saudi Arabia. This isn't the same principle. And it worries me, like you said, about other countries adopting it more and more frequently and it becoming just a standard staple.
Yeah.
Practice, mate, isn't it? It's letting more and more bad things creep into the game that then slowly become normal, that people just give up on and think, oh, I hate it, but what can we do? It's
Yeah.
in now.
Okay. We're finished with the rage on the Villareal
On that
Barcelona
one,
game.
yes.
But the reason I chose Fixture Scandal when we talked about this was, let's just talk about fixtures at the start of the season, really. So we're a few weeks in, depends on whether you're supporting a Premier League, EFL Championship, SPL, whatever, you 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in to your season. I've got a question, really. Is the fixture list really compiled by a random automated sort of system? Obviously, they've got to avoid Liverpool and Everton being at home at the same time and City and United being at home at the same time. But is that it? Is everything else random? Do we know? Because it doesn't look particularly random to me. I don't know.
I don't know, mate. That's a really good question. I actually don't know how random it is. I know that they have to take into all the nuances and the planning of making sure that cities with two teams in aren't playing at home the same weekend. So
Mm,
they obviously take that into account and factor that in. And as the season's going on, they always obviously have to plan for things like the cup competitions and activity in Europe. Other than that, that's a lot of fixtures to have juggling up in the air, isn't it? When
mm,
you're deciding what the fixture list is at the start of the season. So I would be really surprised if someone came out and said to me, "Yeah, we plan it all. We meticulously go through it all and plan it to what's
mm.
for what fans on what day and what distance." My hunch would be they don't. It's random, and it's tough. You take it as you see it. It'll, for some clubs it'll work, for others it won't, and you'll get your rub of the green as midway through the season or during the season at some point. So make your
But
bed, lie in it.
But if you look at the algorithm potential behind it, first of all, they've got to do the avoidance. The Liverpool Everton's at the same weekend, the Sunderland Newcastle same weekend, the Man City Man United. So they'll be in there to say that can't happen. There'll be an algorithm in the software. Then there'll be an algorithm that says in terms of you can't have more than two consecutive either away or home games. That'll have to go in there because
Mm.
otherwise you end up with like four away games before you play home, all that kind of stuff. But then they must just press a button and they spit them out. And I think what happens then is just go right publish because some of the things in the fixture list. This isn't about Borough, but there's a couple of Borough things in
Yeah,
here that have really annoyed me. Right, we're at Charlton. We haven't played Charlton for a number of seasons. They've obviously been in a lower division. I've not been to the Valley. Looking forward to going to the Valley. Every season I look and say, right, I'm going to tick off a couple of new grounds. So we go to Fratton Park in October. Never been to Fratton. I wanted to go to the Valley. It's a Tuesday night in bloody March. Who says Middlesbrough to Charlton, South London, South East London on a Tuesday night is acceptable? They could have easily have made that Saturday, and they could have easily swapped the Tuesday night for a Blackburn away or something of that nature. So I think what they do is to publish it and then just go, it is what it is, because we've also got on consecutive away Saturdays Southampton away, and the following week Portsmouth away.
yeah.
That's not fair. It just isn't fair. Don't get me wrong, other clubs are probably sat there now listening to this going, we've got some right crap fixtures. And I'm saying that's the problem. The problem is the fixture list doesn't take any account of fans whatsoever. Literally, the last thing in their mind is fans. Would you agree with that? What have Everton got any like really weird, back-to-backers or, you know, Bournemouth on a Sunday at 7 o'clock or Monday night, whatever? Any of those that spring to mind?
None that spring to mind like the Borough ones. No, I mean it's more jarring seeing that from the Borough ones. When I looked at the fixture list, like you, I agree with you. It's sometimes you're looking at the new ones and thinking, "Oh, I want to go to that." And, oh, bloody hell! It's in London on a Tuesday night. I'm not going to
Yeah,
be able to get there. Or the
yeah.
two where you've got to travel 5-6 hours, 2 weekends in a row. Um, no, there's nothing that really sticks out hugely. I mean, I know that 7 o'clock one, that Palace Villa one's an interesting one, and I looked at that because when I saw it, I was a bit concerned, thinking, "Oh God, Sky can't do 7 o'clocks on Sundays now as well, can they?" Because that was really worrying me. And it turns out it's simply because they'd already agreed that they were going to be on Sky that Sunday.
Right.
But I think it was, yeah, it was on and because Palace are in there, is it the Conference League
Conference, Europa Conference League. Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
on the Thursday, they're giving them as much time. So rather than having 3 games on Sky that day, they're having 4. So
Oh,
I think
nice.
an exception rather than the rule. But again, it you could say the same principle applies. It's just then not really giving a shit that the fans are impacted. So fans who really probably wanted to travel up to Villa, loads of fans have handed their tickets back and they've got a big allocation vacant because no one wants to go on a 7 o'clock on a Sunday
Well,
night.
well, I like Palace. I think the proper club, proper fans, home and away, good travellers. And this is what got me this week. I saw, Palace have returned 1,500 tickets for a game at Villa on a week on Sunday. And I'm like, what? Really? Palace? And they've just won the FA Cup, and they've just won the Charity Shield, or whatever they call it, the Community Shield these days. And, they're on a bit of a high. I know they lost Eze. As we record this, he's just been stolen by Arsenal from Spurs, and that's been all over the shop today, by the way. That was funny. But the reality is, they would travel in numbers to Villa. It's not that far, is it? From South London
Yeah.
to Croydon to Villa. And then I looked at it, I thought 7 o'clock. So what they've done is they've said to the players, you can have a bit longer. Is 3 hours going to make it on a Sunday going to make any difference to how fit the players are for the game? No. Are the fans going to be able to get back from Birmingham on a Sunday night at 10 o'clock on a train?
No.
No. It's just what I'm trying to get at here is I called it Fixture Scandal. The last people in the discussions on any of
Other
this
fans,
are the fans.
even if you use the excuse, well, we agreed to have it on TV, therefore it has to be at this time or no others. Well, sure, you could come to an agreement with the clubs and screen it on another night. If it comes down to, is it a difference in money if you on a Sunday rather than a Tuesday? Well, just give them the same money.
Yeah,
For me, I agree with you. It doesn't really, it's not really about the fans. I mean, even on something as small as, which has been a staple on Sky's broadcasting for years, I genuinely hate the 4:30 on a Sunday. Whenever we're selected for 4:30 on a Sunday, Everton, yeah, I love going to the match, and I'm not saying when I'm actually getting myself there and going, I'm less invested. I'm not. I love it because I'm into the football. But would I choose to go and watch football at 4:30 on a Sunday rather than 3 o'clock on a Saturday, or a later game on a Saturday or a Friday? No.
no.
There's something about a late kickoff on a Sunday that just spoils it for me completely.
Is it that you're missing songs of praise and Last of the Summer Wine, though?
Yeah, sorry, you've got me.
Got
No,
you.
I think it's just the fact that sometimes it's just maybe these other people are different, but it feels like you're winding into the end of the weekend and stuff. And
Yeah.
sometimes by the time it's all done and you get home and it's your Sunday evening, it's just not the same as the Saturday feeling of going to see the football.
Mm.
And I've been watching 4:30s for years. I've been used to it for decades, but it still doesn't. When I'm at there, I'm at the game with mates. I enjoy it the same, but it doesn't have the same enjoyment as a good Saturday 3 o'clocker
Yeah.
or a Saturday fixture.
Well, I'll be kinder to Sky when it comes to the Championship and the EFL, because what they did is they gave a lot of notice for the first half of the season. So we know when we're on telly, we know lunchtime kickoffs, we know Sunday kickoffs and evening kickoffs, and all the fans of every Championship and EFL club know that, which is fine. But having done that, why would Southampton be playing Wrexham at 12:30 on a Saturday lunchtime? That's just not fair. Derby versus Bristol City on a Friday night. You ever tried travelling on the motorway networks of the UK on a Friday? Jesus, Bristol City fans probably going to have to set off on the Thursday afternoon to get to that to guarantee to be there. It's ridiculous.
I think this is. I think the conundrum you've got is the more games you start to screen and the more you give it broadcasting rights, you're going to have this problem. You're never going to get away from it because you'll always have some fixtures that work in your favour where you go, yeah, that's fine, that's not bad, that's okay. But you look at others like the ones you've just highlighted there, there's head scratches everywhere.
Mm.
That's why I come to the conclusion that I don't think they do really put any kind of planning or care or thought into them. I think apart from those algorithms that you were talking about around the key requisites that they have to put in place, I don't think anything else is actually put in because there's too many things to factor in for too many clubs for too many reasons. So I do think they just, like you said, they set all those parameters in, push the button and let it just spit out what it is and let the chips fall where they may. And then if there's the odd one that maybe they have to rearrange or look at, they do. But generally, that is what it is.
But they'll look at it commercially. They won't look at it from the fans' point of view, will they? They don't care, and they don't care about the fans on that basis. I'm going to ask you what your worst experience of fixture madness is. I'll share mine with you. The season we were in the playoffs, 2015, 16, 14, 15, sorry. 2014, 15, we were playing Norwich towards the end of the season. Norwich were in the playoff zone. We were in the playoff zone. It was very tight. There was 3 games there. I think it was our second last away game of the season. So I got train tickets, all sorted. Saturday, 3 o'clock, get yourself down to Norwich, no problem. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really big game, a deciding factor on who finishes where in the playoffs. We were both almost guaranteed a playoff berth. I think you'll remember there was Brentford, there was Borough, there was Ipswich, and there was Norwich, and it was all
Yeah.
quite tight. We were pretty safe, but we wanted to see where we were going to finish. So you get all excited. Get your train tickets in advance because you think, right, get the train tickets, save as much as you can on the train tickets. And Saturday would be great, 3 o'clock. They change it to Friday night at 3.5 weeks' notice. Friday night in Norwich. Have you ever tried it? I live in York. Have you tried to get from York to Norwich on a Friday night, either by driving or by train? Then you got hotels and all that kind of thing. And that was my most raging as a Borough fan, just the short notice of that. I think Sky have got better. What's the worst sort of fixture choice that you've ever had to get involved? Thinking that's just not right at all. You're playing somebody like say on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock or a Friday night. That if you were a fan travelling, you're playing, I don't know, Bournemouth on a Friday night at 8 o'clock kind of thing. What's the things that annoy you about the Everton fixture list?
It's a long time since I've been to an Everton away because I generally stopped going when I was trying to get up to more Borough games. So
Yeah,
Borough games are like my away games now because I go to every Everton home game and cup game. So it's hard for me to get back on the list for away games. So generally, when I used to go away, I was never, because I'd always come up for Borough games, I didn't go to that many. I couldn't get to that many because I was always prioritising getting up to see Borough as well. So I've got to be hand on heart and say there was never anywhere they really inconvenienced me that badly. I've never had any huge clangers like that. They've always been ones where I've had to meticulously plan anyway, and we've
yeah,
always had enough advance notice to do it. So I can't use any really good examples there. My
okay,
only example I would use, and it's not really, it kind of does come into it on a different playing field, where it's a link point that people I know are hot on and have an opinion on, is the FA Cup semi-finals,
oh,
where you have to drag yourself to Wembley when it's 2 Northwest teams.
yeah,
So, last time we were in the semi-finals, Everton, it was Man United 2016. Took me because she was only 10, first time seeing an FA Cup semi-final. And you've got to go through the whole rigmarole of travelling down to Wembley to that. And it is fairly soulless around there. It's
yeah.
not particularly great. You watch a game, you get beat last minute of the game, and then you have to trudge all the way back for 4 or 5 hours. You think this could have been held somewhere like Villa Park or
Yeah,
somewhere else closer to home where we could get there in an hour, enjoy the game, go home. That kind of thing annoys me because that again is all centered around money and the FA and trying to fill Wembley Stadium when actually they should go back to what they used to do, which was just play them in a neutral venue that suits both clubs.
I don't think there's any decent argument for saying that the FA Cup semi-final should be played at Wembley. I know financially the FA will say, well, the decent argument is the finances of Club Wembley and the FA. That's nothing to do with fans. From a fan's point of view, your big day out at Wembley is a final. It's not a semi-final. It's a bloody final. It's a final of an FA Cup. It's a final of a playoff game. It should be played as a final only. And like you say, the Northwest clubs, and there's usually a couple of Northwest clubs involved, didn't they? You talk about City, historically City, United, Liverpool, Everton from time to time. You look at it going, well, why would you want both sets of fans to try and get somewhere that's 3, 4, 5 hours away? I say all travelling in the same direction. Why don't we just put it somewhere closer, like you say, your Villa Parks or whatever it might be? It's just wrong, isn't it, that fans come last? I just want to finish on a point about sort of fan protests and boycotts. The Bundesliga, a couple of seasons ago, about 3 or 4 seasons ago, introduced Monday Night Football under the pressure from Sky Germany. Obviously, the Monday Night Football in England's been going since day one, and it's the razzmatazz, and it's the Carragher and Gary Neville, disgraceful kind of watching those two jumping around or whatever. But nonetheless, Monday Night Football is a staple of English football and the Premier League particularly. They introduced it in the Bundesliga a couple of seasons ago. and it lasted about 6 weeks because the fans said, we're not having it. I mean, they are fan-owned clubs in Germany, but the reality was the fans said we're not having it, and we're not having it because it doesn't suit our fans' viewing. We have a weekend. We like a Saturday, we like a Sunday, and if we play on Saturday or Sunday, we like to make a day of it. We don't like to make a Monday night of it. So they protested, they boycotted, they marched, and it stopped almost immediately. Um, do you think the fans over here have just accepted the fact that we are second nature, second best, very much an afterthought? Is that unfortunately where we are?
I think so, and I think it's also the fact that we're not fan owned. Fan owned gives you a serious amount of clout, but it only gives you a serious amount of clout if you're all fan owned, because you can all group together and you all have a voice. None of us are fan owned, and we're all owned by people we don't really know that well. Everton has just been taken over by a group of Americans, and we don't know how that's going to pan out. And I am a bit worried about it because, Premier League is being bought out by more and more Americans and more and more foreign owners. And I have no objection to that if they respect the rules of the game and run our clubs and treat us the right way, the way we should be. But I think ultimately fans have just got on with it and rolled with it. And I think also, I think Germany, they're much more passionate about their weekend of football. So I think in England, particularly in Great Britain, I think there is a certain appetite for watching games during the week. I don't particularly enjoy all the different schedules. I
No.
don't particularly mind a Monday night game, but they are difficult to get to sometimes when you've had everything going on. I mean, whenever we get to a night game or a cup game, you all see us running in at the last minute, and we all look stressed and wound up because it's been a chew to get there,
Yeah.
But yeah, watching it the other night, I was obviously watching Everton Leeds, and yeah, the Monday night show on Sky is just abysmal.
Yeah.
But raging all the time about the new guy from Leeds scoring his penalty, and then interviewing him after the game. It's like, he scored a penalty.
Yeah. You
They were
expected to.
fawning over him. It's like, he scored a pen. He didn't do anything worldy. He didn't have an amazing game. He didn't do anything spectacular. He stepped up and scored. Literally his third touch for his new club. All that pressure. Like, he's a paid professional. He scored a penalty. Get over yourselves, will you? Just calm down.
Well, Borough had the same guy on loan a few seasons ago. He couldn't hit Camel's arse with a banjo for us. So, I mean, he scored a penalty, and that's his job, and he should be doing that anyway. But
Yeah.
I'm not really, we've had a few goes over the episode so far about kind of the Sky coverage, and particularly Carragher and Gary Neville, etc. But the last thing I want to think about is, and you touched on it there, really, is more and more American owners, and more American owners are looking at this thing that we talked earlier, the thin end of the wedge side kind of scenario. I am genuinely worried that in 10 years' time, if touchwood I'm still here, that there'll be no relegation and promotion from the Premier League. I said, because they don't believe in it, do they? They don't have that in their sports whatsoever. I think they have enough American owners in and vested interests. So it wouldn't just be the Americans, it would be, the Saudis and anyone who's got money. I think if they then went to a vote and said, we're making it a closed shop, I think that's got some legs because American owners, when they buy into a club, sometimes the guy who bought Burnley, the evangelical guy who bought Burnley, I don't think he knew there was a relegation in the Premier League, and then they got relegated. He's like, what do you mean we're in a division below? Talk about a lack of due diligence, by the way. But I do worry that from a fixtures point of view, it'll be a closed shop of fixtures. They'll carve them up between them. They'll have all the big ones that they want when they want them, and it'll just be, well, it is what it is. That's the buffet we're serving to the fans. And actually, if you take it or leave it, it's up to you. But we don't care because we own the world and we own the football. And I think that's why more and more people are supporting smaller non-league local clubs now than the Premier League, for example.
Yes. My take is, I would hope, and obviously Everton are now owned by Americans, so I hope even more, the caring for the club the way I do, that they do respect the English game and the English traditions. You can't tell me they might not want to tweet the odd thing. They're businessmen. It's a business. It's there for money, prestige, all the things that come with that. and this obsession with owning lots of different clubs and having multi-clubs. We'll get onto that probably in a different pod because that's an absolute nonsense as
Yeah.
well. But I'd like. I am invested in this because we are now, we've only just been taken over. So it's very new days. So I really want to see how it pans out, what they're like in terms of communication with the club, the fans, the community, things that they choose to do in terms of investing in the team, the women's team. You know, some of the things they've done already in keeping Goodison for the women's team, I really like that. I'd like to think that's come from them. It must do, because I don't think it's the chief exec's decision to make that. That's got to come from the owners. But it's an interesting point you make. I would say that if that is how it goes, I think that's the end of football. I will
Mm.
walk away completely. If that did happen,
Mm.
I'd walk away in a heartbeat. It would kill me to do it, but I'd walk away because I would choose to go and support a small club, traditional club, and one where I'm actually seeing the values of actually where they actually care for the supporter and there's sporting competition. I mean, the MLS is it's just a sterile event. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no skin in it because no one really loses. You can have a bad year, but you're still in it.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's no jeopardy in there.
No.
Um, I was going to say it'll definitely never happen, but then the fact that when they decided they were going to do the Super League, they were quite happy for it to be a closed shop then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it does worry me where you think, well, these silly owners and their silly ideas, and they sit in their little bubbles, and the fact that they didn't with the Super League, they had no idea how the fans felt. That's how ignorant they are. That's how stupid they are.
Mm.
So if it taught them anything, it's to get closer to your fans and your fan base and have a voice and listen to the voices that are speaking to you. Nick, if that happened, I think that's the end. I think fans will walk away in droves. The Premier League, it'll be dead because no one will care about it. And I think even fans of the clubs themselves won't care about it. They really won't.
But they'll still fill the seats because tourists will come and they'll
Yes.
sit in.
Oh, they
They'll
will.
fill the
Yeah.
stadiums
Yeah, they
with
will.
higher price tickets and corporate hospitality. So in the end, I think that's the golden goose that they look for. We've talked about this before with, Man United charging £4,000 for your own debenture for your own seat and treating fans with complete and utter disregard and disrespect. So we started on fixture lists. We're getting a bit of a rant now about kind of ownership, etc. But the reality is, it's all down to the fans coming very much second or third in any decisions. And my view as a football fan is we should A, be consulted, and B, be respected, because we're the ones. I'm going to Norwich on Saturday at 3 o'clock, right? My choice to go at 3 o'clock. If that was Friday night, I couldn't probably go. So I'm missing a game I would normally like to go to. Okay. So that's because somebody decides it's Friday night, or, it's Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock and it's just difficult to get back from and all that kind of thing. We're last in the pecking order. We should be further up the pecking order. And all I'd implore fans to do is just be a bit more vocal when you're not happy about stuff. We were with the Super League I had no skin in that game. Borough never going to be anything called Super, either, to be fair. But we were, it was a disgrace that it was. I'm looking at that as a football fan, going just wrong on every level. So on that note, I'd like to finish the episode around kind of raging about fixture, just that fixture choice and all that kind of thing. And I just hope that the Villareal and Barcelona game doesn't go ahead, but I'm living in hope that doesn't happen because it feels like it's a done deal to me. Is it same to you?
Yeah, I think that's going ahead. I don't think the fans or the clubs and I think the clubs want it. That's the concerning thing. Villarreal seem to want it, and I think if the clubs want it, I don't think the fans really get a voice. I think very quickly, my take on it would be, I think fans stay quiet for so long, but when they see things slowly happening more and more and more, bad things, that's when they galvanise and start to speak and start to have more of a voice. The Super League came out of nowhere, was extremely jarring, was extremely huge, and was just there like a great big iceberg that suddenly appears, which got people galvanised, and everyone found it abhorrent. So that's why it gathered pace so quickly. Some of these things, people are unhappy about all sorts of things, about how their clubs are run,
Yeah.
ticketing, not being spoken to, not having a voice, being disrespected. I think they take it and they take it and they take it until they see things gathering momentum and gathering pace for the worse.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that's the point when fans would start to stand up and say, enough's enough. Whether by then club owners decide to take an interest, I don't know. If they want to have a closed shop and still fill their seats, but not have their seats filled by their traditional homegrown grassroots community fans, then football's gone, hasn't it? That literally is, it's died
Yeah.
completely. It has.
On that subject, we'll call that game over for this episode. Dom, I just want to share with those who are watching on YouTube the outro kind of slides, as it were. Bear with me a second. So that's been Fixture Scandal. It's been a bit of a rage and a bit of a rant by me, and I apologize. Well, I don't apologise, actually. I'm still annoyed by it. So, and it's our podcast. We can talk about what we want, can't we, mate? So, on the next episode of the Half and Half Scar Football Podcast, we're going to talk about the managerial merry-go-round, and we're recording this before the second weekend of the Premier League. We've got some thoughts on what the managerial merry-go-round might look like in the first quarter of the season, and we're just going to have a little bit of new stadium fan experience, particularly from Dom, who's obviously new at the Everton Stadium. He goes to his first Premier League game this coming weekend. But we're going to talk about other fans who've been through other new stadium experiences. So that's been the Half and Half Scarf Football Podcast with Nick and Dom. We are on every major podcast platform now. So Apple Music and iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music and Audible, YouTube, obviously. If you're looking for us and subscribe, just search for the Half and Half Scar Football Podcast with Nick and Dom, full title. Subscribe so you get your Monday morning episode straight into your inbox, as it were, or your download list. And we will see you on another episode. So thanks, Dom, for your holding me in a little bit today and reining me. I think this shirt helped to hold me in a little bit as well, mate. So we'll go with that. And thanks for our audience. Please feel free to suggest some subject if there's anything that's vexing you that you want us to have a little a go at, and you might even get a shout out and a name drop, which we're going to do in the next episode for someone who suggested a bit of a conversation piece around managerial merry-go-round. So thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Half and Half Scar Football Podcast with Nick and Dom. See you soon.
See you guys.